This is Modern Persian Food,
a culinary podcast for today's food enthusiast.
We talk about classic Persian flavors,
modern recipes,
and embracing culture and identity through food.
I'm Bita.
And I'm also Bita.
Welcome to our show.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Modern Persian Food Podcast. Today, we're moving the conversation out of our home kitchens and headed out into the community, specifically checking out Persian restaurants and markets and sharing some of our must-get dishes and ingredients every time we go. By the end of this episode, you'll be ready to navigate Persian menus and markets without any hesitation. Hi, Bita June. How's it going?
Hey, hi, and hi to you, listener. I just want to take a quick moment and say thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you get a little bit of tidbit information on venturing out to restaurants or markets, and we're so glad you're here connecting with the Persian culture with us through food.
This is a fun topic. I feel like we've been to a bunch of different restaurants together, Bita June, in San Francisco, in Orange County, and in LA. Some fun, unique stuff that we checked out, and of course, the standard Persian staples.
We also have a bunch of content if you want to deep dive further into Persian markets and restaurants. We've got lots of content on that. But today we're going to talk about some recent adventures that we've each taken.
Yeah, I had a fun little adventure down to downtown LA recently, and I had a really fun time there. I stayed kind of in that downtown arts district area, and I just had a little bit of a food tour. I had a really fun time checking out a bunch of places down there, and the art, all the big murals and everything everywhere. That was really nice. I was able to fit in a trip to Berenjak, which is a really fun restaurant. They have a couple different locations across the globe. I believe you went to the London one, Bita June, right?
Yeah, I think the original one may have been in the Soho of London. And yeah, it's a Michelin-rated restaurant. So I can't wait to hear what you thought about it. You went on a girls' trip, right?
Yeah, I was there with two of my girlfriends, and it is such a vibe there. It is so beautiful, and there's so much energy. You walk in and it's like the front area is this beautiful garden that they have tables set out there. We actually sat inside upstairs, and it was like such a mood in there with like the tall candlesticks and beautiful like dim lighting. And where we were sitting, it was kind of like a chef's table in a way. We could see straight into the kitchen. So we saw them with these fire ovens and just grilling up foods and all of the different stations that they had. So that's always something fun for me to be able to kind of see how the food is being prepared. But they had a lot of fun stuff. I would say that one of the like more surprising things that I saw on the menu that I really was happy and excited to kind of try out was the dour. And I'm not sure if you guys did this when you went, but they had regular dour, and they also had a dour cocktail that they made.
No way.
Yes. And they made it with clarified yogurt.
What is clarified yogurt?
So it's like a strained yogurt. So really it was like the whey of the yogurt.
Healthy.
Yeah, that's right. Remember when we had Homo Dashtaki, who makes the yogurt, the big mustache yogurt on the show? Yes, that was really fun. She talked about whey in her cookbook that she has, that it's all about whey, the liquid part that comes from the yogurt. So they made a dour with that and gin and soda and mint. And I think I had a little vanilla in there too. So that was really fun. We kind of did a little taste testing of the spiked dour versus the regular dour.
Oh my gosh. Because you remember, I also tried to experiment with that at home.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I didn't have much luck. But what did you think about it? Mine wasn't strained.
I thought it was fun. Yeah. And didn't you use like a cucumber vodka or something?
I think, yeah. Maybe it was just too many flavors going on.
Yeah. Maybe, but this was actually really light and refreshing. I really liked it. But yeah, I do think the clarified part just made it like really like lighter. And the gin, I think, was a good complement to it.
So, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. And then we got like, a big spread of food, your standard go-tos of the kebabs and khoresh and things. And with all of the spreads, they also had ghormeh sabzi on the menu, which was really fun. So we got that, and my girlfriends were able to try that. We'll have to kind of go into some of our must-haves on the table at a Persian restaurant. But tell me about some of your Persian restaurant adventures.
Before I do, your girlfriends that you went on this trip with were non-Iranian?
That's right.
Yeah. Had they had Persian food before?
They've had a little bit of Persian food. They've had a little bit of a Persian food. And I do have to say that one of my friends has several food restrictions, and they were super accommodating with the menu and, like marked up a whole menu for her of telling her what things she can have and she couldn't have. And yeah, so we pretty much had like almost everything off of the menu on the table at some point. It was really fun with the different torshi that they have and stuff. But yeah, they're both non-Persian. And the other one has been experimenting more. She lives on the East Coast and has been able to go to a few more Persian restaurants lately. So she was excited to be there as well.
How fun. Oh, good. I'm so glad you got to go. Mine was back in the fall. My visit to Berenjak was back in the fall when it was a family trip. And we had my mom, my husband, Bobby, and both of our young adult girls with us. And one of my daughters had made the reservation way in advance. It's not easy to get a reservation. And we went to the one in Borough Market. There are multiple locations in London. So we were in the one in Borough Market. And we got there and we were also sitting upstairs. It was a relatively small space. I would call this space classic, or I don't want to say old-fashioned, but definitely like it had some beautiful Persian art, traditional and classic. It had beautiful Persian art on the walls and I think the tall candlesticks like you mentioned. And it was really interesting for my mom to she sort of treated it like a museum. She was going around and carefully looking at everything, and she really liked the environment. But our waitstaff was super friendly. We got the specialty item, which is the black hummus. Did you happen to get the black hummus?
Yes, that was really interesting. It was delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. It's a flavor that I've never had before. And we heard the story. Of course, I asked, what's the story? And apparently, the first time that they were going to make hummus, the shipment that came in turned out by accident to be this black garbanzo beans. And the chef decided to go ahead and experiment with it. And it turned out so good that he kept it on the menu.
I love that. How fun.
Yeah. And then the other really memorable thing for me was just the juja kebab was one of the best I've ever had. It was so extremely tender and juicy.
Yeah.
And like big, tender, juicy chicken. It was fantastic. And then, of course, the Berenjak, what that means is kind of like crunchy rice. A crunchy tadigi rice snack, I think is what Berenjak means.
Yeah. Right. I think the chef's auntie or something used to make that when he was little or something like that.
Yeah, I think there's like a cute story, a family story. But yeah, so that was fun. There, instead of having like a flat sheet of tadig, which is the crispy bottom of the rice pot, the little pieces of tadig were interspersed within the rice. So with each bite, you kind of got a little bit of texture. So that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. It was. It had a little bit of a crunch to it. That was different. I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah. So that was our experience. And then more recently this year, I think in February, when we went to New York to visit my daughter for her birthday, we got to go to Eyval, which is over in the Bushwick. It opened in 2022. I would say that this restaurant definitely was modern and had vibes. It was like very cool inside and hip. Maybe it also has to do with kind of the neighborhood. You know New York and Brooklyn better than I do since you've lived there. But yeah, it was really, really, really cool inside. And I have to say, everything that we ordered was fantastic. I don't think I've ever been to a Persian restaurant where every single thing was so good. It was so good, in fact, that my girls who are both in New York now, they've been multiple times. They take their friends' parents there, and it's turned into a super favorite restaurant of theirs.
Oh, I love it.
Their ghormeh sabzi was fabulous. Like typically what you get in a Persian restaurant is the kebab and the rice. And so for a khoresh or sauce that goes with the rice to be really good, I think is kind of saying a lot. And they did a really, really good job on their khoresh and all of their side dishes.
Yeah, I can't wait to check them out. During my last trip to New York, I wasn't able to get any real Persian food in New York when I was there. I definitely wanted to go there and also check out Sofra. I haven't been there yet, so I wanted to check those too. But alas, I will have to wait till the next time I go to the East Coast.
Yeah, something to look forward to.
So, Bita, let's continue on that topic. What are some of your must-haves on a table at a Persian restaurant? What are some of the items you have to order?
Well, most restaurants will bring out the fresh bread if they have it. Hopefully they have a way to make fresh bread. Nuna paneer with some feta cheese and walnuts and a big bunch of fresh herbs. So that's nice to always start with. We also like to get some of the sides like mosto musir, the thick yogurt with shallots. We love that. Sometimes we'll get a form of eggplant dip if they have that. That's kind of what we start with. And then each of us orders our own meal, usually some form of kebab. Every once in a while, if it's a big family gathering, we might do family style where we order kind of for everyone, and then everyone gets their own portion of rice. And when I'm ordering that way, my go-to is juja kebab. I love juja kebab. I think they do it really well in most restaurants. And I will typically get half rice, half salad to kind of control the portions on the rice and to get my greens in. And most restaurants will accommodate for that. And then that's the dour is another one that we like to have with kebab. And with the juja kebab, of course, comes the delicious fire-roasted Roma tomatoes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, those are all delicious. So good, so good. And yeah, you definitely do get big portions of rice out of some of the Persian restaurants. It's like, wow, that's a lot of food coming out all at once.
It is, yeah. If it's your first time, they have typically these big oval dishes at a traditional restaurant. And
yeah, like a platter.
Yeah, and it's like usually a mound, half of the dish is rice, but it's super good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so delicious. Yeah, so if I had to narrow it down to like 3 things that are my like must-haves at any Persian restaurant, I would say that there has to be at least one eggplant dish. So either like a miza gharsemi, which is like the basically fried onions with eggplant and usually an egg. Usually the big differentiator between the miza gharsemi and the kashk bademjun is egg and also kashk. But yeah, so miza gharsemi has a garlic and egg, and it's like a dip that you can dip some of that bread that you were talking about into it or just eat on its side. And it's super delicious. The kashk bademjun is the eggplant that has kashk in it, which is like a fermented yogurt, tangy product that you can add to it, or like even like a khoresh, like a stew with eggplant. But definitely eggplant is a main thing.
I love eggplant too. When I make it at home, when I make kashk bademjun, it's as you described. When I make mirza qasemi, I also put a little tomato in there. I think that's another differentiator.
Yes, that's right. So good. It is. And the eggplant just gets so tender and delicious. It's definitely a must-have. And I don't always make a lot of eggplant at home. So for me, going into a Persian restaurant, I definitely want to kind of get that flavor. And another thing what I love at Persian restaurants really is the kebab. That's where you go to get the kebab. So I'll either go with like a beef kubide on the skewer, the flat beef skewers, the flat beef kebabs. And if I get juja, which I love getting juja as well, but I usually go with like a dark meat juja versus I think you're more of a light meat, like a white meat juja kebab.
Yeah, I am a white meat girl, yep.
Yeah, and then it's just so delicious with like the lemony citrus and the kiss of the fire for those kebabs that I love having that. And I would say as my third category for what I must-haves if I'm going to a Persian restaurant is also the lamb. I love getting lamb shank, and it's usually paired with a fava bean and dill rice, and that's like definitely like a go-to for me as well. It's just like I love like those flavors, and then I don't have to cook. It takes a long time to cook lamb shank, although I do it often enough. It's just nice to not have to like cook it and just have it served to you. So those are my go-tos for a Persian restaurant.
Oh my gosh, I think we both had a hard time sticking to just 3.
I know. Because everything you said too, I mean, the dips and the herbs, all of that is just such an integral part of the Persian experience, Persian food experience, that it's hard to narrow it down.
Speaking of kebabs, I've gotten hooked on a takeout kebab from a Persian grocery. In fact, I had some for lunch left over. It is, I could eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner until it's gone. I don't know when I'm going to get tired of it.
I love it. So yeah, let's talk about that. Tell us about markets. Let's transition to talking about that.
Okay, let's shift gears to hitting a Persian market. If you're lucky enough to live in California, there's probably one nearby you. If not, you may have to venture a little bit. But hey, hopefully you find yourself in a town that has one. Super Irvine is relatively new. I mean, The family has had a grocery called Super Irvine for over 25 years, but they closed to renovate it. And I think that was when you and I went to the grand opening of the family's restaurant, Arya. Remember when we went to Arya?
Yep, in Orange County.
And the daughters were there in Orange County. Well, anyway, it's since reopened in this big, beautiful, brand new space. And it's in Irvine, close to the airport. And it just opened, I think, in last October. Wow, it is such a nice shopping experience. It's just huge, clean, easy parking. You can kind of get everything you need from there. So that was fun. I've had a lot of visitors. So I've had some airport runs and I've gotten to hit the Super Irvine, and I'm totally hooked on their kebab. I would say that that's the one thing. Their meat quality seems to be really good, and their juja kebab and their barg is the filet mignon kebab. Those are fabulous.
I love that. I guess there were some like, a few hours away, but we didn't really have those big Persian markets. There was like a few smaller ones. And honestly, you kind of like back in those days, you kind of had to like check the quality and like make sure it wasn't like sitting on the shelf for a long time. But obviously that, we've come a long way since then. But there isn't a big market like that super accessible to me. But it sounds so lovely to just like be able to go get all your groceries and your staples, and then also go to like the ready food section and get takeout. And, that other one that we went to in Orange County, they had a huge meat case and all those sweets and pastry, patisserie type of stuff. So that's amazing.
Mission Ranch. You came to Mission Ranch. Mission Ranch is still our favorite for the Orange County people. It's a real experience. It can get so crowded.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but it's fun, and they have such good sides, and you got to experience the fresh bread there.
Yes.
So what are, I guess, your top three? So you probably have to go to Berkeley. Where's your closest one?
Yeah. I mean, like Middle East Market in Berkeley. There's some shops in San Francisco that carry Persian products, Sami Rami's, and some other like small ones that have kind of like Persian ingredients, which I'll go to. Or there's one in Marin, Jasmine Market.
Oh.
But they're not that big. And I know in like San Jose area, there's like a lot more, but it's like an hour and a half away,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
But if I do go, so when I do go, then it's always a fun kind of experience. And, so many markets are now carrying more and more ingredients that we can use for Persian food. And there are online retailers that can get you Persian ingredients really quickly. So those are all resources. But going into the market is like a whole different feel, because you get to like look at everything and just see the variety. But if I had to go to a Persian market, if I was going to a Persian market, my top three things for there would be some sort of sweets. So like the Persian cookies, like the non nohochis, like they'll come like in a little tray of like all the different kinds of dry Persian cookies. So I would either get cookies, or I would get like zulbia bamiye, which is like the fried caramelly golden. I compare it to like a funnel cake, but much smaller and more delicate.
And drippy.
That's
drippy with
zulbia. Yeah, soaked in like syrup, like honey saffron syrup. It's so good. It's so good. So I would have to get something sweet like that. I would also look at the different types of syrups that they have, like syrup meaning like pomegranate molasses type of syrup, or like sikanjabin, which is the mint and vinegar and honey syrup / dressing, however way you want to call it. But it's like this, the thick liquid that we can make into a sharbat or use it for cooking. So one of those syrups would be on my list. And then thirdly, the specialty fruit, because there's things like quince or fava beans or aluche or like chocolate badum, which are like raw almonds, baby almonds, green almonds that you can't get at like at normal grocery stores. So it's just nice to be able to kind of stock up on those seasonal specialty fruits. So that's my list.
They have them right now. Did you say sour plum? Goje?
Yeah, goje or aluche, whatever way is the correct way to say it. But yeah, those little sour green plums that are so good.
Yes. I like to make sure I have rose water at all times, liquid saffron, which some might poo-poo on, but because I'm not always grinding and blooming my own saffron, but I find liquid saffron to be such a great time saver, and I use it in a lot of recipes lately. Those, and then the spice section also is fun. Like you get big, huge Costco-sized turmeric, and they also have some, Persian, obviously Persian-related spices like sumac.
Right, or the dried limes are in that section too.
Exactly.
Limo amani.
Yeah. Well, if you are getting inspired and wishing that you could get these things, just also rest assured that many of these things you can actually order these days online.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the things that you can get kind of in any Middle Eastern market, or, a lot of times even markets like Whole Foods and stuff like that, I can get, my pomegranate molasses or, different specialty spices and rose water and things like that there too. So it's great that we have access to more and more things. But yeah, those are definitely some of the go-tos of our standard Persian market. So everyone listening, I think you guys have some good resources here and tools so that the next time you go to the Persian restaurant or to a Persian market, you will not be intimidated by the menu or the selection, and you'll know what to hone in on. And hopefully you can use these ingredients and have these flavors in your home.
Yeah, and if you do find yourself in a restaurant or a market, tag us, let us know where you're eating. What are your favorite Persian restaurants? Send us your pics and tag us on social media so we can see.
Love it. All right. This was episode 189. We are coming along and summertime is coming up. So stay tuned for more fun content. And until then, we'll see you soon.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Modern Persian Food Podcast with Bita and Beata. Thanks for spending time with us. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling a friend or giving us a good rating. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app, or find us online at modernpersianfood.com or on Instagram for the recipes and information we talked about today. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and see you next time.